What is going on, ladies and gents? Or as if the way you say it.
Welcome, heels and baby faces.
So you're wondering what is EmoséwA Live? This is the premiere stream. This will be the stream where pretty much anything goes down at any time. We can promote stuff, we can interview, bring in a crowd. I don't know, whatever. But today's stream is gonna be a special stream. I think it's like an long overdue welcoming of the man right by my side here, Rob. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Mister Rob?
Well, my name is Robert Gantu, of course, aka Rob. Um, I'm from Falfurrias, Texas. The majority of who don't know where Falfurrias, Texas is like about 45 minutes away from Corpus. It's the best way to describe it because, like a lot of people don't know. Every time I mention Falfurrias, everyone's like, "Where is that?" So it's basically just next to Alice Kingzo, Corpus area,
I don't think
South
I've ever
Texas.
visited the area. I've,
The only thing we're famous for is our butter. We
butter?
have, yeah. There's actually, and if you go to HB, you'll actually see the Falfurrias butter, and so there's an actual thing.
I can imagine living like somewhere in Waco. Waco's known for Dr. Pepper. That's the home ground.
Oh man, my wife loves Dr. Pepper.
I am a Dr. Pepperaholic.
Me, Big Red,
Big Red?
Big Red.
Mm.
Yeah, but
How's your
basically that's it. Yeah, I'm just from this small ass little town.
s- small ass town? We're all from a small ass town.
Yeah, about 4,000, 5,000 people.
um, how's your day going so far before trying to dive into questions?
The day's been good. It's just been work and home, basically, and that's pretty much it. Try to isolate myself from everything else.
Mm. Um, okay. I want to ask, how were you approached as far as like joining the brand itself?
Well, I think your tag team partner Franco is the
My
one
tag team partner
that your
rivalry.
your
No, wait.
rivalry, your tag team partner,
My
uh,
husband. No, wait.
to 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 the EmoséwA Productions. He's the one that messaged me and asked if I would want it to be part of it because I think he knew essentially that I wanted it like for a long while. I just didn't like I had an idea of it and I've always had an idea of it probably since like 2017 uh and and but I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I knew I wanted to do something with wrestling because I just loved wrestling my whole uh life, you know. And so I didn't know where to go with it, so he just basically approached me because I kind of put it out there already that I wanted to do something and I wanted to start something, and he basically said, "Well, I have this, brand, and it'd be cool if you just, would jump on and do this." Basically, it was just a random thing.
So Emo Swallow Productions is now the land of opportunity.
Pretty much,
Something like that.
yes. Yes, that's how I felt because, like I said, I didn't know how because I'm not really tech savvy or anything. I'm more caveman like. I just press play and I record and I'm good. I don't know all the the technicality. What kind of mics? What what kind of sound system? What kind of laptop? What stuff do I need to upload? And all,
Mm.
yeah, I just leave that to y'all. You know.
uh, that was probably gonna be another one of my questions. How did the whole Robbins work come into play? You kind of mentioned the
Well,
years.
yeah, it was more because like I grew up around that era. From like like the like 95. It was almost like the debut of WCW, that whole thing, and then from there on I just became that. It's funny enough too because like um I was watching more Nitro than I was Raw is War. which is funny enough. I didn't start watching the Raws because I really wasn't allowed to because I lived with a Christian grandmother, so it was kind of hard for me to like. She kind of found like TNT to be more family oriented than maybe say something like the USA Network that had stuff like La Femme Nikita and the Farm Club and like these weird shows I'm not supposed to be watching. And especially the way Raw's War was back then, with the Attitude Era and all that stuff. And so it was basically more like, yeah, I was more of a Nitro kid, but yeah, the whole Rob is War thing comes because I'm, the '80s, '90s kid that grew up during that era, which I think was the best era in wrestling.
Well, I'm gonna pretty much give out I would say my age. I was actually born in '95, so I got to miss out on that whole thing. I
Yeah,
got a little glimpse of it like towards the end, but it was mainly my older brothers that were like watching that type of stuff.
yeah. I'm an '86 kid, so Back to the Future, Metallica, that stuff, that whole era of things.
86, so you're like a year older than my oldest brother.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I
uh,
mean, yeah, I just love that era. That whole wrestling era was just great. I mean, the nostalgic. I mean, even if you go back and watch it now, it's just those moments.
um, my next question is gonna be about your tag team partner. um, how long have you known Murph, aka the Murph, Alcoholic Al, Murphy Mania, Murphy Kingdom?
Uh,
Um, was there? Did you ever reference him as Al Elite Wrestling, or that has been
yeah,
one of the
what? Yeah, it's just and that's another thing about the whole Rob is War thing and the whole podcast thing is that I wanted to play on with with my friends' names and try to tie them in with the promotions and it was almost like I was trying to make the promotions the characters themselves. And I think that was the idea of it. But as far as the Murph goes, I've known that guy since like 2006, 2005, 2006. Those around there. Yeah, for about 14 years. Yeah, we used to work, of course, at a fast food place, McDonald's, as everyone has. Uh, and that's how we met, and we just like clicked off right then and there because it just started with something about wrestling, and all of a sudden that's what it was. We just
sounds
always talked wrestling.
magical. I mean, that's a very similar story to me and Franco. I've known him since like around those years, 2005,
Yeah,
2006, and similar interests, wrestling.
yeah, and like we've never like every day we've always messaged each other, always kept in contact. Didn't matter where we were. We always, uh, you know, we just became best friends like that. And like I said, and that's another thing. The Murph, AKA King of Sloth Style, is
So,
what I like to say is because he sometimes like when I'm the type of person like I'll watch it on the day of the event or so. He likes to wait until 2 or 3 days later or whatever, because he got other things going on. So it's hard for him to keep up with all the stuff that's going on already, you know. But I
yeah,
mean, yeah, and it started off like that. It started off with the whole Raw is War thing, the whole WWE thing. That was the connection from me and him. Up until I started finding, obviously venturing off and finding other promotions from there, and then I was the guy that was also showing him stuff too.
the
So it
Rob
was, yeah, it
Chuck.
was basically both Robs. He mentioned Robbie, and then there was me, Rob. Yeah,
I was
we're
gonna
all
say the Rob and Murph connection,
into the Rob zone.
the Rob zone.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, Murph seems like a really cool show, dude.
yeah. He's also a bass player in a black metal band called Votan, and so yeah, he's a cool guy. And like I said, all our all the messages would be about wrestling and us dissecting it and stuff like that. And then, that's what I like. Since I had the idea of the podcast, I was like, well, dude, you should be on the podcast with me because you kind of get the idea. Like we're trying to play it like if we're like we're trying to play it off like if like the way we see our favorite commentators, you know. So we're trying to do it like that, where it's like he's dude, is he really drunk? Is he not really drunk? I can never tell. I don't know.
Mm.
But all I know is like he likes to sip on that alcohol. That's for sure.
Does he have, I don't know if y'all ever come up like fan base names, but I think I'd be an alcoholic.
Yeah. Uh, uh,
Alcoholic.
I mean,
Or
because
wow.
we're thinking of stuff like that because the whole idea came from again, like saying we kept up from 2005, 2006, it's around there. And then like not only were we like keeping up and messaging with each other, but we were also playing the WWE 2K games online. So we kind of had our own little universe going on online, which I started, which I called Trendkill Wrestling, which is more of a Texas Mexican promotion, if you will. The whole Southern Trendkill thing, the Pantera and then mixing it in with stuff like Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. Yeah, he's blending the best of
Mm.
Tex-Mex, basically. And so that I think I started that idea or that promotion or that the whole little 2K universe as you call it, like in like I think it was like 2K17, and then obviously evolved from 2K18 and then 2K19. I never ever bought 2K20. I just didn't want to. I just thought like after that I thought this getting stupid.
Yeah, I
Like
heard there's
there's
like
no
so many
yeah
buggy
there's
issues
yeah
and
there's
all that.
there's no new features. There's nothing. You're getting the same thing basically. So I'll just stick to this. And plus I built the whole little promotion as far as like all the pay-per-views, all the belts, the whole rosters. And so yeah, him being a big Undertaker fan, he came up with this. Well, actually, I don't even know if he had a name for it. I think I came up with the name. I just said you should just be called Metamorphosis. At, at, at first, it started off as a play on like Metamorphosis, you know, and but then it started into Metamorphosis, where it's just like it's just an evolution. It's just an embryonic stage, and so yeah, so AKA Meta, and so that's what I call him. And and then I have a character called Robiste, and which is basically half man, half no, it's half machine, half monster. Is from what I googled. It used to be some kind of Voltron thing, and and so it was like a half machine, half monster, and I was like, that's perfect because I like wrestlers like that.
Well, I believe you just answered my fourth question.
Oh,
So, anyways, that question, what I had it under was the history behind Trendkill Wrestling.
okay, yeah. See, that's another thing I wanted to cover because I can go on with that because yeah, it was a video game format thing that I was doing, but in reality, I wanted to turn it into a comic. I was gonna do a whole wrestling comic book because I feel like there's not a good like because I'm a big comic fan as you I can't even let me see how to do this as you can see, uh, so I love collecting comics, and I'm a big, huge Batman fan. And so, like, I just feel like yeah, I have like a few WWE comics, and they're okay, but they're not like like I want something that's like original, like that's made up, like it's just this
Meet up.
that
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, you have the WWE comics, you have all those kind of comics, but I mean, like, I want something that's just that 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 is comic oriented, but it's still wrestling based, and it started off as the comic, and then maybe eventually evolved into an actual promotion itself or something. You never know, but I'm saying that's how I envisioned it. And then the whole trend kill thing all obviously goes into something bigger because, like I said, it was gonna be a comic that I was gonna call Planet Wrestling, and funny enough, this whole idea was going to be about how wrestling was going to be the last entertainment we had on earth, and then funny enough, come 2020 that actually happened, you know so that kind of blew my mind, and Murph, it kind of blew his mind because it's like, dude, you actually made up a story that that had to deal with where I had an idea because I'm into like conspiracies and stuff like that. So I was just getting everything I loved from the '80s to everything, and then putting it all into one thing. So like basically, the Trend Kill Wrestling is just a small promotion within the bigger story or whatever.
Uh, so y'all had a Simpsons moment.
Pretty much, man. Because like I said, I don't even know how I realized that because I was telling you, like the idea I have is like because obviously I like something like Space Jam, right? And it was something with Space Jam. You had the idea where these aliens were gonna take the sports entertainer and make him a slave onto another planet. So I was thinking wrestling idea. I was gonna do the same thing basically. Like I was gonna have this WWE like wrestling based evil empire corporation or whatever that I think is WWE, right? But I was gonna obviously you can't call it that or whatever, but it's gonna be my basically my idea of a big wrestling empire that has its own planet and that's being ruled and you know uh they're squeezing out the talent and they just look at the wrestlers as products and they don't look them at they don't look at them as human beings. And so that basically how I was going to start the whole idea where they didn't have a lot of talent and so they had to come to earth to to search for new talent. And in my whole universe luchadors are extinct too, and like just little things like that.
You gotta hurry up and get that thing published
Yeah,
so I
I
can
was
read
thinking. Yeah,
it.
like there's ideas of like the 12 crystal skulls, right? So I was gonna have an idea where you're gonna have 12 mystery luchador masks. Because in reality, I may be giving something away here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if may, could we see could the luchadors because in Mexico they are worshipped and they are looked up as gods and stuff like that. It's basically like Lucha Underground, another promotion I just loved because of the idea that they were doing comic based style of wrestling. They were doing that cinema stuff before Bray Wyatt and all that was doing, or before the whole delete and the whole broken mat and all that stuff. Lucha Underground was already covering cinema and all that stuff.
I
You
never
know,
really got to dive full into that show. I know Franco and Andy would
bro.
watch that show. I would catch glimpses of it whenever, but
Man, I was all for it. I was all for it. I watched it since day one. Uh,
I know
and
it had
and
Johnny
basically,
Mundo.
yeah, dude. Basically, and we got the best John Morrison or whatever, John Hennigan, right? That's his real name. Uh, uh, we got the best character in Johnny Mundo, and I wish, and I should have known, but I wish WWE would have had done something like that. I wanted the Johnny Mundo type of character to be in WWE instead of this stupid,
Mm,
goofy. I don't know what we're getting right now.
mm,
I guess
you're
we're getting the
just
whole like just hippie like he's far out there,
drip
goofy.
drip.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
I was like, I mean, when it first showed up, like, sure, I mean, oh, cool, we get to see Miz and Morrison again, but it kind of went on for a long while. Like, oh, Morrison's just gonna be the
That's what I
side
was saying.
guy.
Like in my head, I was like, yes, Morrison's coming back. They're gonna do big things. They're probably gonna push him like they were doing with McIntyre. Returning. I thought they were gonna do something like that, but I guess they, no.
Whenever Edge came back, I was kind of hoping that there would be a rated RKO reunion, and then have a Miz and Morrison they face each other because
That
they
would have
were
been.
like around similar time when the teams were built.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely, definitely, and those all the stuff you're talking about there is definitely the stuff I want to dive into, like with this podcast as well. I want to talk about why why Roman Reigns really got booed. It wasn't really because of him. It was more because they wanted Daniel Bryan to win the Rumble and they wouldn't have it. Little things like that. Just little things that maybe your average fan wasn't catching or whatever. The thing with Braun Strowman, we all know he should have already been champion by then, because and I know that for a fact because Brock Lesnar saw this potential guy when he was already in development and said this is the one. He's going to be the next guy. And so Brock Lesnar was pretty much put the stamp on him, and you saw that because he kind of, Brock Lesnar kind of put Strowman over, but I don't know, a lot of stuff, obviously the politics and the
Yeah.
backstage issues and all that stuff, had to hand. But yeah, I can go on and on with all that stuff, as you
uh,
can
I don't know, I just grabbed some random comic. I mean, because you mentioned comics, so I mean, this is one of the comics I
tell.
own.
Ooh, yes,
TMNT and
man.
Power Ranger crossover.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's kind of one of my weird collections that I have, like Power Ranger stuff.
Oh man, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan.
Yeah, the act figures, pretty much all the DVD seasons, all the just about most of all the comics that were released of Power Rangers, like the Hasbro, whatever. I don't know,
Yes,
Boom Studios.
yes. I was always like, I don't know how old I was. I was probably 4 or 5 or something like that. I don't know, but I always had a fascination with like the Gold Ranger.
The Gold Ranger. I would say main Jason, but Jason was the second.
Well, but I think I don't
The
know who
first
the
was
character was. Like this was the original Gold Ranger before
Triforia. I think that's
something
what
like
he.
that. Before it was before Jason or or Tommy took the reins. Yes, yes, that's it. And then that might be the one. And then his aircraft or whatever it was a pyramid, and it was just yeah, it was awesome.
The funny thing is about Zeo is like they're like the most overpowered Rangers, but yet they didn't. They just got they couldn't hold their powers. I guess
I mean, man, that stuff to me is like that stuff to me is like my Star Wars, man. Like Power Rangers is my Star Wars,
the
pretty
freaking
much.
Green Ranger
Yes.
Morpher.
Oh man. Yes. And that's because it's called who's Jason David Frank, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Green
JD,
Ranger.
JDF, yeah. That's because he always comes down to Texas, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
To some of
most time
these
he don't. Yeah,
man, there's times because I mean I want to go and I want to meet him. I want to meet him. That's definitely my favorite Ranger, and obviously, uh, we can debate the fact that he's the goat. He's the greatest Power Ranger of all time. He's Jericho.
he's Jericho.
He's Chris Jericho. He's probably beyond that, honestly. In the Power Ranger realm, he's probably like a Hogan or something. 'Cause, man,
He
that
has Master Morpher, so he can like. I mean, he can form
and
into
then
any of his other forms.
well, obviously he has that new movie coming out too.
The Legend of the White Dragon, I believe that's what it's called.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you ever saw the YouTube fan videos.
The Band Son, I think that's the YouTube channel. There
Maybe
was,
there was one that was pretty dark.
or
They
you're
they,
referring to
they took
the.
a dark outtake on this one. It was cool.
Oh, I think yeah, I think I've seen it. Yeah,
And
I
I
was
did
like,
and
all
I did
right.
and I did watch and funny enough, my tag team partner and me and Murph did watch the Power Ranger movie on my birthday.
The
And which
which
happens to
one?
be my birthday always happens to land on, Murphy Mania, WrestleMania. So I'm an April Fool's baby, so it
April
always lands around.
Fool.
It either lands on it or it lands. I think I think when he was in Dallas, it landed on it. He went to that one. I'd never been to a Mania. He got to witness a Mania. That asshole.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna. Probably won't be able to go to the one that's gonna happen
I
soon.
know, man.
Yeah.
And it's a 2 night thing,
It's-
man.
sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot, but I also hope that um I also hope with that pay per view they change things up. They do something, man, because that product is becoming stale right now. And I guess that's another thing I'm gonna get into. It might, spoiler, it might be the next episode I'm thinking, but
Sneak peek.
because obviously want to discuss all the releases and stuff and why that is, why they're releasing it. I don't like. I'm not gonna cover too much because obviously I'm gonna cover it on that episode, but like I don't know. The way I see it is like don't like don't be fooled. Like don't be that. I guess I would call myself a smart. I guess, but or it's just the older me, or like knowing because I love like being a musician and stuff. I love like the behind the scenes stuff. So I like documentaries and stuff like that. You love. I can see behind you. You love Halloween, and I'm a big Halloween freak. I love Michael Myers. and obviously that's the king of slashers. And I'm sorry, and anyone who says different is a lie because even if you say, I mean, because Jason is great, he is, but I mean, still, you got Jason because Halloween was there. Almost
Yeah.
like you got freaking NSYNC because Backstreet Boys were there. You just cloned them. That's basically
Do you
how
know the history behind the Backstreet or NSYNC that I forgot which one came first. I
those
think
are, well, speaking of the
this
documentaries,
is
there's a
this
documentary on it
documentary. Yeah,
too.
this the same guy Lou Pearlman was behind it, like
Trippy, man,
making it
trippy.
seem like they're two different you know
And so
things.
think of someone like Vince McMahon. He probably treats the wrestlers like that. Like man, like butters them up. It's
uh,
insane.
I haven't seen the recent documentary on Netflix, the
Uh-huh.
movies that made us. I watched the Halloween one, but I haven't watched the Friday the 13th. But I heard in the Friday 13th one that they basically say up themselves that we wanted to make a Halloween movie ripoff. I was like,
That's
all right.
that was pretty much the idea, though. Yeah, and they got it from the idea of Halloween.
Um, my next question: how long were you a frontman for? Because I know I've heard you mention that you were in a band.
Yeah, that was from. Uh, damn it. It was probably around the same time I met Murph. I mean, I already had started singing before then, but like officially, like getting on stage and doing all that, yeah, probably around the same time, 05, 06, all the way up till like 2014, 2015, around there. So I was singing for, well, at first it started with my my cousin who, you know, obviously for some reason during my generation you always got the guitar player and the drummer that were always best friends for some reason, and you just had them two. So that was the thing with my cousin. His best friend was happened to be a drummer, so they both jammed out and they would jam out Metallica tunes. And you know, me being an '86 kid and me being you know into thrash and that whole era, uh, I was just, I mean, I'm a drummer at heart. That's what I do. I'm a drummer, but I mean, obviously during that time, since I'm just a kid and I can't afford a damn drum set, I might as well do something musical. So I just picked up the mic just for the hell of it because they needed somebody, and so that's just how it started. And it just so happened that that's how it starts, right? Like it just so happened that people are taking interest and starting to look at it like, wow, you can actually sing or you can actually do something. So that's how I saw it. I was like, okay, well, I mean, if people are liking it, then I guess I could pursue it a little more. And that's what ended up happening. I ended up making my name off of just singing before doing the drumming thing with Awaiting Oblivion.
Oh,
And then that's how I jumped into like the whole with the Corpus scene and meeting like Tony of Killamora and X Creed and Nine Kills Nine. And I mean, in '06, I also, uh, I think during that time we had Craigslist. And so I posted a little ad on there. Uh, I'm like, I don't know what I even said. I'm a metal singer or searching for a band and I can scream. Or I said something like that. And sure enough,
and
the guitar player from Sewn Shut, which was one of the, I guess from my hometown of Foul, I kind of knew about the Corpus scene, right? So like for us, there was like, I guess you had the main big four bands over there, which were like Excreed, Killamora, Sewn Shut, and I think like Nine Kills Nine were the four major metal bands, I guess, in the Corpus scene during that time. Uh, which obviously Excreed, the drummer ends up opening his own studio, and you get Shattered Sun, and now the singer for Shattered Sun is with El Nino, and the rest is history. But like, uh, but with Sewn Shut, they needed a singer, so I just happened to go in there and what's funny enough with that was it was a cool learning experience because that was the thing where I had to like learn how to do stuff like on the fly, because now they have the tunes and all that stuff, but they don't have lyrics or any of that stuff. So here I am for a whole week knowing that they already have a show, we have a show planned, but we need can you so yeah, I basically had a whole week to write lyrics and to figure out these vocal patterns and to try to record them and then do the show. So that's how it started.
Mm,
But I
singer.
mean, like, yeah. But then after that, I didn't like the story is long, man. Like after that, obviously, it didn't really work out. And then I came back. I was living in Corpus at the time with my dad. That's how I met the Murph and all that. And then I came back to Foul. And when I came back to Foul, that's when the whole journey of my cousin and his friend needed a singer. And then so I started jamming with them for a little bit. Um, but then there was these two other dudes that were best friends that were also a guitar player and drummer, and they would come and jam with us, and they needed a singer, and so I don't know. I guess I was just at the right time, right place. I guess because there wasn't really that much singers in our area to begin with, so I just got lucky, I guess, and ended up jamming with them at Downtown Ride in Alice, which I think is still there. I don't know. Uh, And yeah, the rest is history with that band because, like I said, we ended up doing a bunch of shows all over the Corpus area, and most of the times on zeros, you would just find us at zeros all the damn time, every weekend, just playing. And they loved us so much that we just played there every weekend.
I always wanted to be a vocalist myself, but I mean, I don't know. I think I'm real insecure about my voice.
You know, that's funny enough. I feel the same way. I feel the same way with the whole podcast deal. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it because I feel like I have a chick voice. So I think that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to scream and stuff like that because it just sounds more manlier than my actual voice. And so I think that's the thing too.
uh, oh, me and Franco. Well, we had this thing called Far From Alone. It was like well, first of all, it started off as a rap duo group.
Oh,
I don't know if Franco wanted me to mention that, but that's a little back history and the so it was a group called Far From Alone, and then I think later on in the path, uh, that was asked if I wanted to be a part of it.
well, okay. Let me ask you a question. Is that how you met Fuentes?
What? No Far From Alone stint.
I mean, yeah,
Yes, because open mic nights was at House of Rock in Corpus Christi. We would
yeah,
go
man.
there. We'd go there, check out how things went. Like we just observed them up there because we were just well, I say we, Andy and Franco were writing the lyrics down their iPod, and we would check out whoever is opening it up. I mean, you have from time to time you have RAWBzilla going on. You have
Yeah,
I think I've only maybe seen Fuentes maybe once, could be twice, but I just know that one time performance. He remember him doing like it was like a Smash Mouth All Star cover. It
nice.
was pretty hilarious. And it was like, oh, Mr. Fuentes, is this guy a teacher or what?
Well, that's awesome because that's funny that you mentioned like the open mic nights. We've done a couple of those. And we've done a couple of those to even open up for national bands that were coming. You know, you have to do those open mic nights in order to like audition for those type of shows. And then with RAWBzilla, I was drumming for a band called Axis of Harmony, and we played I think it was an open mic night, or it could have just been a show itself. Anyways, uh, we happened to play with RAWBzilla there at the House of Rock, and after we were done, obviously RAWBzilla just comes to us and yo man, y'all are fucking awesome, and and that's we've just been friends ever since.
As well as a pretty chill, cool dude, man. This guy, even though he's like, I mean, he's kind of a bit of a name for himself, but he's real humble about it, and you can tell like in certain projects he sees, he's really into it. Like, yeah, for like, because when he knew from us, I guess from Far From Alone a little bit, and then when we started doing the podcast for Wrestling Tacos, Franco had asked him if he wanted to be on. Just like for a guy like him, I mean, he probably has like a little busy of a schedule, but he gave us a shot, like a up and coming starting podcast.
Yeah,
Still a little bit like I'm like mind blowing.
dude. Yeah, and I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. What you're what y'all have, what y'all are building, what y'all continue to build. I mean, I'm honored to be part of it. That's for sure. I,
You're the hottest region. What are you talking about?
I,
Got
th-
to.
I think, I mean, like I said, I think it's clever, and and that's another thing about the reason why I'm starting the podcast too, because I guess the whole singing thing, and I can never shut up, so it works out, man. It works out where I can just talk all the damn time instead of talking to my wife, who probably is annoyed about by it. Me talking, just obviously when I get into wrestling, I'm watching it like how obviously a fan watches it, how a football fan watches, how a freaking obsessed Dallas Cowboy fan watches a Dallas Cowboy game, yelling at the damn TV and throwing shit at it. That's kind of me. The same way with wrestling, or like if something shocking happens, here I am jumping up like a like how it makes me feel like a kid again. And I think that's coming around with the AEW stuff. I think that's why I love it so much, because it kind of bits and pieces remind me of Nitro. It reminds me of WCW. And that I think that's also what I said, which I'm going to get into later. That's why I also think why all these releases are happening, and that's just me. I just think WWE's up to something, because you always think they're always going to drop the ball, and just like that they come back and swoop it back up for some reason. I don't know if it's going to happen this time around, but I don't know, man.
They released a lot, people.
I'm just, but the way I see it is, it would be stupid to think that Tony Khan and Vince McMahon are not talking, because they're part of the billionaire club, and you think they give a shit about us, pesky little humans. But people are gonna still think that, oh yeah, it's AEW versus WCW, and they're probably both looking at each other, next to each other, going like, "This is fucking great." We'll let them think that. I'm just saying. I just see a bigger picture. I just think, maybe they could be helping each other. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I mean, come on, elite, all elite. Like, just
Release.
you're not seeing stuff like that about worldwide takeovers and new world orders and bullet clubs and come on, man. It always seems to be like a hostile takeover of every damn promotion. It seems like NXT with their take over London, take over Paris. We're gonna take over everything. And I think that's one of
Man.
the reasons why, I don't know. I mean, I think I heard it. I think I heard that that's why. Like that, I heard it somewhere. I think I heard it on a podcast or somewhere that WWE probably doesn't even give a shit whether we like it or not. They have so much money they can care less.
All that
But
Saudi
but
money.
but I mean, exactly, blood money. But at the end of the day, um, this is why I want to do the podcast, right? I want to put it into a perspective to where I'm not trying to shit on any of those products. I want to put it in a perspective to where I'm looking at it like a coach looks at football plays. Like they're always talenting the new upcoming fresh talent. Who's the who. That's how I see with AEW. I'm so humbled and grateful that I got to see the Lucha Underground stuff, because majority of that roster is now AEW. You know, and people wouldn't know that, but like for someone like me, I've been watching Luchasaurus probably longer than people have been watching him when he debuted on AEW. I was already getting snippets of him already as Vibora. He wasn't even Luchasaurus yet, but he was called Vibora in Lucha Underground. He was going to be part of I said earlier in the message to you about this EmoséwA sounding Indian. Um,
EmoséwA.
EmoséwA, hey, hey. But the with the Vibora thing, they were gonna have this thing called the Snake Tribe or something. It was gonna be like a tribe of snakes or some shit. And it just so happened, I think the leader or something, I think was Thunder Rosa, but she wasn't Thunder Rosa yet. She was under a mask. I forgot what the name was. It'll come to me. But anyways, they brought in this guy, this tall dude, and at first the crowd started chanting "Lucha Taker, Lucha Taker," because he just looked like the Luchador Undertaker. Like he was this, and he was doing the power driver and everything, and he had this weird snake-like reptilian mask that was pretty cool. So the whole idea of Luchasaurus comes from the fans. He thought at first he thought I think he thought they were saying something suck us, or he said something like that, but they ended up saying no, bro. They're they're saying Luchasaurus, and so that's how it is. Same thing how I did with singing. He just went with it, you know. And so he was like, okay, that's different. I need a gimmick. Okay, I'll go with that. And then it just so happens that he has a degree in history and dinosaurs and all that shit. And so that shit is actually legit. And that's what I love. And that's what I love about wrestling in general and slasher movies and all this stuff. It's all about characters. It really is. I mean, when I watched Kong versus Godzilla, it was like I was watching Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. I mean,
uh, the
and
icon versus icon.
and that's funny because my tag team partner, right, is a big Godzilla fan. So obviously he already knew what could have went down. It did go down. And I even called it before the movie. I was like, "Watch, bro. This is exactly like wrestling. It's exactly gonna happen like wrestling. They're gonna feud and all this other shit, and then all of a sudden, you get the other guy that's gonna come in, which ended up being what Mecha Godzilla, and and they're gonna end up tag teaming. You're gonna have the Mega Powers, brother, and yeah, that's the
Okay.
way I was. That's the way I view movies. Is that you,
Uh,
dude? Yes, and it was, and one of the best movies I thought. Like it took me on a roller coaster, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I missed about wrestling. There, that I think WWE is lacking right now is that it's not it. I want something fresh. I'm not saying not I'm not saying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. But I mean, like, damn, like the recipe's there, right? The formula's there. Just give us something.
yeah, they have a lot of talent, but they just don't know what to do with them.
It's
You
either
know,
they don't
it's
know what to do with them or they do that, like I said, they do that stuff on purpose where, okay, we'll release them, and then once we
yeah,
release them, they're gonna get all fueled up and like, oh, start hating WWE. Then they're gonna go to another promotion, and then they're gonna get more value and more money, and then WWE's gonna be like, okay, we're ready.
we'll take you back.
We'll take you back. Exactly what they did to Drew McIntyre, who I knew as Drew Galloway, you know. And that goes back to like, and I was watching his career as the chosen one going into SmackDown. He was the chosen one, and then they ended up releasing him, and then he ends up going into Defiant Wrestling, which is a British thing. Well, actually, it was What Culture. It was What Culture Pro Wrestling, which obviously if you know YouTube and all that stuff. Podcast, What Culture, and then it ended up turning into Defiant Wrestling, and that's where I was seeing Drew Galloway and Will Ospreay and El Phantasmo, and like, dude, the list goes on and on and on. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's the idea of the podcast, is that I'm viewing all these different promotions that have such incredible, like, vast pool of talent, man. Like AEW is just scratching the surface of the guys that could potentially enter that forbidden door. And I think that's what's cool about it. And I think that's the thing well, Vince McMahon's father was kind of pissed off about that, where like Vince wanted to own everything. He was trying to monopolize wrestling and kill all the territories, and I was like, that why though? Why though? When if you could have just worked with those territories, you probably would have even got even bigger money than what y'all have. I mean, they have money anyways, but still, you still would have got money nonetheless. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What I have another question. After that, do you have any like? Of course, you have favorite bands.
Slipknot.
Slipknot, the Tattoo.
Yeah, on both. Slipknot's my band.
So like,
Going back, because it's all about characters, it's all about merchandising, it's all about branding, and even during that era, people thought it was the stupidest thing ever. But look at them now,
the masks and everything, like
because people don't understand this stuff. People don't understand that it's bigger than you, and like no one's gonna want to watch plain as boring content. You got to give them something. You got to give them something fresh. And yes, podcasts and all this stuff and the things I'm probably doing with a wrestling podcast has probably been done many times before. But like like you said and like I said, like it's just like how you approach it, how and maybe little things like that you're gonna remember. It just the play on words or the goofy little stupid moments or just little things like that.
yeah.
But but yeah, I'm a big well, I told you I was 86, so Metallica and all that stuff, but Slipknot's my band, but just that whole era, that whole new metal era, I guess you would say, with the Linkin Park, Papa Roach, Disturbed, El Nino, Spine Shank, Cold Chamber, Fear Factory. I mean, the list goes on. I can go on and on and on and on. Let's just
Yeah.
let's just say I have like let's just say I have like over 10,000 songs or so on my PlayStation 3 alone.
Mm.
That's how big of a fan I am, and it goes with wrestling too. Like as much bands as I probably know is probably the same thing with the wrestlers. Because I see it that way. I see NXT. At one time before, I was obviously the big AEW fan. I liked NXT. NXT was the stuff that they were doing was great. What Triple H was doing. Not only that, you're talking about favorite metal bands and stuff like that. Like Triple H is a big metalhead himself, so like obviously with the time to play the game and the and that's going to be an episode itself. Theme songs.
Theme
Because
songs.
yeah, that's going to be another one itself because I owned Volume 4 and Volume 5, Enforceable Entry, and I even owned the Aggression album with the rap theme songs. Um, yeah, that whole anthology I had. I probably still have it. It's probably part of the PS3 collection. I probably have it somewhere. I have all that somewhere. Which is going to be something I'm going to start sooner or later. This is also a thing, but I also want to do a drumming YouTube channel where I play nothing but wrestling theme songs, my style, in a ninja outfit.
And a ninja outfit.
Yeah, because it's either gonna be called the drumming ninja or the cymbal assassin. I don't know.
The
And like
symbol assassin.
instead of me having like nunchucks, I'm gonna have drum chucks. So it's just gonna be two chain link drumsticks that look like nunchucks. And my little Chinese stars are gonna be little symbol stars, little China symbols.
Like you would have like this whole the channel, a bunch of videos on it, and I don't know, I could like randomly come with like a story behind your whole character. Just be like way off what you're going for, like
It's something. It's there. I was thinking the mass drummer, but I think it's already
it's like
taken. So
the the
the
ninja
rock.
jumper. It'd be something like
Well, have
so
you seen?
ridiculous.
What, have you seen? This is another nostalgic movie. Have you seen Sidekick?
Sidekick with
Chuck
Chuck
Norris.
Norris.
Yeah, and Barry. Come on, Barry. Toward the ending, he had this badass white ninja suit, and the spotlight was on him, and he was just doing some crazy shit. But he was all imagining that stuff. He didn't really have the suit on or anything. He was just imagining it as he's doing it. Right? And so that's how I picture me on the drums, like in a ninja outfit, just wah, 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 wah. I'm doing some ninja shit, but it's on drums.
Be wearing the Ninjetti outfit from Power Rangers.
Or something that's cool, but it's gonna be pertain to that where maybe I have like fucking drumstick samurai swords or some shit. I don't know, but like yeah, it's an idea I've had. See, like I can be creative. I have a creative mind because obviously I have that idea of the comics and I have like over 50 characters with tag team division, the women's division, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. And then that idea, I have that idea, and then I have musical ideas too. I still have ideas obviously for bands and band names and song titles, and I still write lyrics and I still do all that stuff. I try to uh, write down like facts and stuff like that too. So I try to do the homework, but I also like want to keep it nostalgic too, and keep it authentic and it's funny because you're gonna hear it a lot on the podcast coming up is that I'm gonna always be saying that Rob knows all, and that's
Bro.
that's my that's my catchphrase. But in reality, I really don't know shit. Like I just don't.
Mm.
It's just a
Are you
game.
exposing yourself here?
Maybe
mm.
or do I? But
Mm.
because there is some things that Murph knows that maybe he knows all.
Murph knows all.
And I don't know. There's things There's eras he knows and there's eras I know. I don't know if he's too. I don't know if he knows some of this more generational stuff, but he does. He definitely knows all the '70s, '80s, and '90s stuff because him and Robbie always they always uh they always watch the episodes and the timeline in order. Like they've been going back and rewatching back to back. That's pretty cool.
Excellent.
I've tried. I started doing that, but I was like, I kind of get bored because I'm also a ranch kid, and I really didn't have TV. I had my trampoline, and I was doing suplexes and stuff.
Suplex on trampolines and moon houses.
Yeah, I was jumping off of chicken coops.
Or yeah, using pillows as chairs. I mean,
We're actually and on the ranch we were using real chairs.
oh, real chairs.
Yeah, because I wanted to actually feel how it felt, and I wanted to feel how to land on barbed wire. And there was one time my cousin powerbombed me off of like a tool shed onto like hay, and then the one time we lit hay on fire and I powerbombed him on that. And so I've been there too. I've done the backyard wrestling stuff too. That's how big of a fan we were. Like like coming up with factions in schools and stuff like that. And one half of the crowd is WCW, the other half is NWO, and later on, I think during junior high, it turned into just me and my buddy are part of the Ministry of Darkness, and the rest of the crew are DX. Because we were outcast. You got jocks.
The
They're all
social outcast.
DX. The social outcast, yeah. But I mean, within those times, you also had ECW. I mean, I was watching ECW as well, and I have favorite wrestlers of them too, all three. Now of this era's wrestling, I don't know if I even have a favorite wrestler because it's just too damn many good ones.
Could narrow it down
I don't think I can narrow it down like in this era. I can tell
in
you
this
back
era.
then, but
Uh, guys who are like as far as the mainstream, uh, I would say maybe to majority of people I think he's kind of overrated, but Kenny Omega is one of my favorite ones.
I don't think he's overrated. Honestly, I think what I mean. I think the maybe the your typical I guess WWE mainstream TV fans are looking at Kenny Omega as overrated, but then I could be like, you know nothing because you probably saw nothing of his Murphy Kingdom, Wrestle Kingdom stuff. You saw
New
nothing of
Japan.
his. You saw nothing of that. You don't understand if. Like, in order for you to understand who Kenny Omega is, you're gonna have to go back and watch that New Japan stuff for real. Like, and I kind of, well, in a way, I touched based on that. Well, not really. I guess I could do an episode of that too, but touched base on the last episode about the G1 climax and the New Japan stuff. Is I think that's another promotion uh, that you'll be hearing me talk a lot about besides AEW because I know Murph always likes to make fun of me like, oh, now you're an AEW, Mark, what happened to WWE, huh? So so I had to like put him in check and be like, well, yeah, I mean, because AEW is doing a lot of things that are right and a lot of fresh stuff that is going on. It's not that I hate WWE, but I mean, come on, man. Like, there's only so much you can do, and you had such a there was a lot of talent. You can't tell me you didn't have a lot of things for them to do because I know every wrestler would always say like, oh, say that the management of WWE would always say like, oh, we don't have nothing for you to do right now and all this. I'm like, how's that? Like, can't you? You're making up scripts. Can't you just make up something so they can get on TV or can do something? I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said on the last episode, the whole New Japan stuff is it's awesome, man. I don't know if you ever watched that stuff, but
New Japan. No, like the only glimpses I ever got were like maybe just highlights, stuff like that. I never actually seen a full show.
yeah,
Um,
Murphy was the same way. He saw like little glimpses until I told him you need to check this match out, and then after he checked that match out, because obviously it started off like, well, how am I going to get familiar with all the wrestlers and the roster and all this stuff? But obviously, sure enough, as the years progress, he knows the roster now. He has a favorite. He knows all that now.
It's- I had seen well the matches I mainly saw because of Kenny Omega. It was I seen the Omega versus Jericho. I seen I
See, well,
I want to say I seen all the Okada versus Omega matches.
that's where it started for me. That's that right there. Uh, because I don't know if people know, but that he's one of them because I got a top three WCW Nitro favorite wrestler list, and Jericho is one of them. He's one of my all time favorites. So obviously, wherever Jericho goes, I'm gonna watch. So as soon as I knew Jericho was going to New Japan, I like hello, like it's just yeah, I'm gonna watch, and especially the whole idea that he's building this whole Alpha versus Omega thing. That was pretty damn clever, and I don't know if anybody understands why he that match was called Alpha versus Omega, and for all we know, it's funny because I don't think if we ever had that match, if we never had that match, I don't know if we would have the Kenny Omega we have like today, the value he has now. You know what I mean? So that match to me is the starting point of all the AEW and the AAA and the Impact stuff he was gonna do later on. Uh, so like the whole Alpha thing obviously comes because during that time Jericho was considered as I guess like an original indie guy. He was the first one that because back then no one even knew who indie wrestlers were or independent wrestling was. So back then, uh, Jericho was that guy where he was already doing ECW, he was doing Germany, he was doing Japan, he was already doing New Japan before the WCW stuff. So all that stuff obviously built his resume and led him up to being the Lionheart we knew in WCW Nitro. So obviously it was years later him coming back to New Japan, and so it just made sense, Alpha and Omega. Alpha versus Omega, and especially it being at the beginning of in January, which is pretty cool. uh and bro, I gotta tell you, that that whole Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view, because that was the first time I was watching it. Man, 4 hours. I think it was longer than that, but it started like at freaking 1 or 2 in the morning. Because obviously their time difference over there. It's night over there while it's morning over here. So yeah, I stayed up. I was pretty tired, but I stayed up because I knew I wanted to watch Jericho versus Omega. And yeah, and it's funny enough. I think a year later or something, he comes back to Wrestle Kingdom, and he has the AEW title now. So in a way, we kind of saw a prequel to the Forbidden Door. He already had planted the seed. But I don't know if you heard, obviously, the last episode of the Rob is War, but Murph did mention that, well, WCW was already doing stuff like that already with the Forbidden Door stuff, with them bringing in like Thunder Liger and Ultimo Dragon, and obviously the cruiserweight division we know now or knew then. So yeah, man.
And well, another guy I guess that comes to mind, like in current, I guess, well, he's in NXT. Johnny Gargano I'm a big fan of Johnny Gargano.
Yes, man, and it's crazy that they haven't. I mean, I know people are like wondering why don't they put him up to the main roster. Honestly, I don't think he should. He should be the only guy that just stays there. And I'm not talking like
First Grand Slam champion.
exactly, man. Like that guy is great. Like, man, yeah. Just the work he was doing with the way, and,
Anyway,
and like the stuff he's doing right now with Dexter Loomis, which was a guy I believed in when I first saw Dexter Loomis. Obviously, I'm a big fan of slasher stuff and all that stuff. So yes, I did see Dexter, and so yeah, man, that whole thing was like, dude, this is like when he would come out and all that stuff. This is like Randy Orton meets the Undertaker. Like he's just this silent predator, just walks slow and calculates everything. I thought it was genius, and I mean, and then obviously when he first debuted and all this stuff, they didn't know what to do with him, type of scenario. But like, look at him now. He's basically the Undertaker of NXT, I guess.
Let's see. Still got a little handful of questions here.
Oh man.
uh,
Okay.
so I know you're a comic book reader, but the
Mhm.
question is, are you a collector of any sort of stuff?
Like of certain comics.
Well, I mean, it could be comics, be like
Oh, I mean,
any just type of like
besides the comics.
different types of collections, or do you consider yourself to be the collector or just like a
Um,
average?
yeah, I would consider to be like an average collector. I don't have a preference. I mean, like I did want to like since I'm a big wrestling fan, obviously I wanted to try to collect all the wrestling figures, but then I thought like that's just way too much, and it'd be way too expensive to like, collect every single certain figure. So I well obviously I collect Funko Pops. I love the Funko Pops. I just think they're awesome. Um, recently I started collecting the micro brawlers, the little micro brawlers from Pro Wrestling Tees. I've been collecting those. I think since I was like, well, I know I want like a wrestling collection, but I don't know what it is, and maybe it will be more luchador masks. Um, but yeah, I want to collect more of that. I just haven't really. I just been collecting more. I just been fixated on comics
Comics.
for the most part. I have a big old wrestling metal shirt collection. But I don't know if that's a collection because I'm pretty sure a
I mean,
bunch of
yeah, I
people
mean,
have
that could
stuff
be
like
it.
that. I guess it is
Yeah,
because
it counts.
I love the designs, and sometimes I'll buy them because I just love the designs. Even sometimes wife will get mad and be like, "You're just hogging up all that closet space. Wear half of that." But I like the designs though.
Design. Majority of my closet is all filled up with black shirts.
Yeah,
So you
but
need different colors.
yeah, yeah. There's a few colors here and there, but not that much. It's all black. But I mean, yeah. I just been collecting the Funko Pops. Oh, actually, recently I've been collecting. Looking at it now because I'm looking around the room like, what do I collect? uh, I've been collecting the Seth MacFarlane multiverse figurines.
The multiverse. Let's
Yeah,
see. Do I have a recent one?
I've been collecting those. Where is my recent one? Let me see. No, I
I
think I
think
have.
I just.
Hold on here.
Me myself. I mean, I just have a
Oh
couple.
man, that was a good one. I don't have that
Like
one.
I have the Arkham Asylum Joker, and then the other
Oh
two I
man.
have is I have the Superman. It's not the animated series, but I think it's one of the first ones.
Uh huh.
I don't really know what it's based off of. But I do have that. I forget what it's referred to as, but it's like he looks all evil and
Hmm.
like
Superman.
yeah, it's another Superman variant.
It could be. Oh man, yeah. The multiverse is a bunch of them.
Yeah, this puts like an eviler Superman.
Might be the one from Injustice. 'Cause Injustice, he was an evil Superman.
Well, I think this figure was released around the same time when they released like figures like the
And
is it referred to Batman Who Laughs, I think. The
yeah,
like
yeah. And that's another what's it called? A thing I collect is also the DC animated movies. Monthly, I or every month that it's released or whatever, I buy them. So I do the DC animated, but yeah, I definitely have the Batman who laughs.
I used to claim, I mean, had be able to say that I own just about every single Batman DVD or Blu-ray, but ever since then they started just pumping out a bunch of animated Batman movies.
Yep,
It
and
became too much. Like, oh,
I've been buying all of them because I'm just
like
a
I had
big
the
Batman fan like that.
anything else Batman. It was like the classic series of Batman with Adam West,
Yeah, I love anything and everything Batman.
all the animated series or Batman
Everything.
Beyond.
This was one of my recents.
What's one's down?
That's the Demon. Etrigan the Demon from Demon Knights. And then I also have obviously another one, King Shazam, Evil Shazam. The Joker I have is the Joker from a comic series called The White Knight. I don't know if you know what the White Knight is. And obviously you know about the Dark Knight, but
The Dark Knight. It's the what?
But you don't know nothing about the White Knight.
Mm.
So, what if in a universe, Batman is the enemy and Joker is the hero? It's the White Knight. So yeah, that's the comic I'm recently actually reading right now. Is the White Knight. The Murph is the one that said. Actually, he was the one that told me about the DC Infinite app. They have an app where you can just read unlimited comics, all DC. So yeah, I'm a subscriber, and so I now on top of all the books I have here that I need to get to because I just keep buying and buying. um,
Yeah.
I have some of the stuff that I'm reading also on that app. Sweet Tooth is one that was I've been reading also because they just came out with a Netflix show of it, and so it's like okay, I'll read the comic first, and it's been really good. So I can't wait to watch the show as well. Um, Speaking of slashers, I just recently got a comic from a band called Ice Nine Kills. I don't know if you ever heard them, but they've been doing this whole all their albums has been based on horror, and maybe that should be an episode we can cover on Friday the 14th. Um, is this band is doing nothing but horror? Every single song is about horror, from It to Halloween to Jason to. They have a song called I think the Curse of Crystal Lake. Um, if you haven't heard them, I think you should check them out. I think you, as a horror fan, would really love them. They just, dude, man, and yeah, you get some of those gimmicky bands, right? Where they're like, is this really gonna work? Is this? And this is going back to what I've been saying about metal and wrestling. The Ice Nine Kills is the perfect example of like he really is a legit freaking fan. Like some of the actors that they got in their music videos were part of the horror thing. The kid from because they recently just did a Pet Cemetery music video, so they did a Pet Cemetery song based on that, right? But the little kid that gets hit, obviously from the iconic Pet Cemetery, that little kid is on their music video and is now the truck driver hitting his own self. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, come on. You get now you got the horror community giving the full stamp to this band. You know what I mean? They're not a gimmicky band. They're not, poking you or your eyes or whatever. What you see is what you get. He really is a big time horror fan, man. Like I suggest you go check out some of their videos. I think you'll really love them because they're just many. There's an American Psycho one he did. He did it. Man, yeah. He's covered them all. So the recent album they did was I think it was the Silver Scream Part Two. I think Return to Horrorwood or something like that. But yeah, I think you'll love them. So yeah, I thought it was fascinating that they came out with a comic book, and it's about how the singer, I guess, is going on trial for like murdering his fiance or some shit like that. So it's pretty cool, man.
Going off the whole collecting wise, whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, it's freaking it's I wouldn't recommend any person get into the collecting lifestyle because it becomes too much.
It
But I just
does.
want uh, but I mean, here's part of some of my collection that
Oh
NECA
man,
figures.
yes.
I see, I had this Michael and Lori, and then behind me at my bed frame, have my other figures standing above, and it's pretty much all the main icon slashers that they released, like Jason, Freddy, Michael, Leatherface, Ghostface, just about most of all of them.
And I'm pretty sure. And like I know you know about the that was that's a question I have for you. Like I know you know about the mainstream slasher stuff. Like, but is there any underrated slasher movies that I probably don't know of that I probably should watch? Because I'm a big slasher fan, so I'm trying to find. I started watching actually that Netflix show Slasher. Um, there's some other ones that I've been trying. I have the Shutter app, so I can check out stuff like that.
Shutter.
I just got the Phantasms. Uh, so man, yeah. Is there any underrated ones that you think? I mean, there's one I always mention that people don't even seem to know is Warlock. I don't know if you ever seen that one. I mean, dude, that's an iconic one. I don't know. People seem to like what is that, but I was like, I know during my time during the times that Halloween and Children of the Corn and Jason and all that came out during my time. Well, during my time was Jason Goes to Hell. Uh, yeah, that freaking Warlock movie came out, and so did Dolly Dearest and Arachnophobia, which is why I freaking hate spiders. The movie
There's
messed
just
me up.
there's so many horror movies I still need to freaking go into.
Yes.
Because most of my time, I mean, it was all just most of my life was just consuming like the mainstream stuff.
Right.
Growing up, I wasn't a person that had cable
Same
for
here.
most of the time, so
I
whenever
think that's
finally
what
getting access,
I think that's what also drew me to. That's why I can't sit straight most of the time, and why I probably can't finish a season of something. And it's probably gonna take me 4 or 5 months to finish one damn show or so, because I just can't sit. I can't binge. I can't. I know how to get jittery, and from a ranch, and I didn't have that technology. I had just my CD player and my drum set, and my
CDs.
and that's all I had. And then some, occasionally had an opportunity to watch wrestling or so.
I was trying. I don't know. I was trying to think of like any like underrated
Yeah,
films. I honestly don't know.
I mean, okay, let me see if I can throw some at you. Terrifier.
Terrifier with Art the Clown.
Uh huh. I mean, and that's
Yes.
I'm throwing it at you because I didn't get to finish it, so I'm thinking about going to watch it because now there seems to be a whole community around it that's it's making it popular.
Yeah, there's gonna be another one, part two. Uh,
Really? Oh yeah, I think I heard about that too. Yeah.
but before Terrifier became a full feature length film, there was another uh All Hallows Eve, I believe was the film was called. There was like short stories kind of a
Hmm.
thing, and Art the Clown make little appearances from, I don't know. I
Oh
can't
wow.
remember it quite all
Yeah.
that well because I've only seen
Yeah.
it once. But like, oh, this is like his previous like I guess debut, whatever.
Wow. Huh.
That All Hallows Eve, I believe is just what it's called. I remember seeing it on that app Tubi. I think Tubi had
I've
it.
I've heard about that TV app too. Like, I heard they had a lot of good nostalgic stuff in there too.
They have a lot of good stuff. The only downside, of course, it's free, so you get ads.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Tubi, there's Pluto TV.
Well, see, I watched the Pluto TV because I watched the Pro Wrestling Channel and the Impact Channel,
Yeah, I came
and
across the Impact channel.
and the Triple A channel. So I still get my fixture of wrestling on Pluto TV as well, uh, especially on the Pro Wrestling channel because they're showing a bunch of like cool and nostalgic stuff too, or they'll show some PCW stuff, or they'll show stuff like with Shane Strickland, who is now Isaiah Swerve Scott in NXT, and uh, well, actually, right now I'm actually watching some Legend stuff. But before we jumped on, it was a young Darby Allin versus versus Shane Strickland, who is Isaiah Swerve Scott. Hit row.
Hit row. You ever seen the VHS? Not really that under. It's not really that.
I was just gonna say that they Shutter released one too,
Yeah,
VHS
the
84 or
90,
something like that, right? Oh,
90,
it's something like that.
97, 98.
But I did hear about those too, and I heard that they're good as well. So I need to check those out as well.
You
Are
can
they like
skip the third one.
okay? But are they like found footage films?
Yeah, they're found footage is pretty much an anthology type of thing. So there's
Because honestly,
different stories.
I love me a good found footage film. Honestly, I wish. Oh man, you have a
So this
box
one, yeah, this has the Blu-ray and it's a freaking VHS physical
itself. No
copy.
way.
Yeah.
That is great.
It's-
That is, yeah, yeah, after all this, I'll definitely be hitting you up for more nostalgia, because I'm just trying to find. I just want to. I don't know what it is. It's funny too that we're talking about comics, right? Because this is what I've been reading recently too. And it's funny you have a podcast called Friday the 14th, but have you heard of Friday the 31st?
Friday 31st.
And I don't know if anybody has heard of Hack and Slash, but she's basically the Buffy of slashers. uh, yeah, this one is so great. I don't have you ever heard you never heard Hack and Slash?
No, not to my end. Yeah, I haven't come across that.
Yeah, I think you need to because for if you're a big slasher fan, Hack Slash is so awesome. The guy Tom Seeley he created what did he create? He created some of the new 52 Batman stuff and some of the Nightwing stuff. Um, but yeah, he did this thing called Hack and Slash, where it's this girl that is basically like it's almost like Supernatural, where she's like this slasher detective type of thing, and she goes around killing slashers. And she has this psychic named Vlad who wears this gas mask. Well, I mean, they show a silhouette of him here, and you think he is a slasher, but he's not a slasher. He's just this gentle giant that is her psychic. So yeah, I think yeah for anybody who loves slasher stuff, and comic stuff, I would recommend Hack Slash, like for real, man. Like
Slash.
I just because being a big comic fan and being from the small town of Fow, we didn't have really any bookstores or any of that stuff. So obviously, when I moved to Corpus and I found something like, say, the Half Price bookstore, yeah, that's my trade center every weekend. I was there every damn weekend, and honestly, all this stuff right here is probably all half price. Because every week, every paycheck I got, I was like, I'm going to half price. I'm gonna find something. Hey, well, yeah, I ended up finding like five or
Yeah,
six things or so.
find
but
some hidden
but
gems
yeah,
there.
Hack Slash was definitely one I gambled on. I just saw it there. I read the back and I was like, it's because sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll just gamble on something, because like obviously I'm trying to collect all the Batman stuff, but like, or at least the rare stuff. Not I don't want to say everything, right? Because like you just mentioned before, a collection can be stressful. So so you got to kind of pick and choose certain little. So that's what I kind of started doing, trying to pick and choose. Like if I'm gonna be a collector, I'm gonna try to pick and choose some of the rarer stuff. Maybe some of the stuff like I showed you with that demon multiverse figure that you probably don't even know who the hell is, or just little things like that. This is where it sparks that interest in being like, okay, whoa, I never knew that side of those stories, and that's why I think I got a fascination with the whole multiverse, because then you get Dark Knight's death metal, and maybe that's the evil Superman you're talking about. I don't know, but that's definitely one of them. That's definitely one of them with the dark side hand. So he's a dark side Superman. That's another discussion. I probably could start my own freaking comic podcast if I wanted, but
Comic
yeah.
podcast.
So I just collect stuff like that. Like I said.
I mean, the last comic I picked up was
Oh no
like a
way!
Beatles based.
That's freaking epic, man. Oh
Then I
man.
have another one. It's like based around Paula's dead.
Wow. Okay, so you're a big, so you're a Beatles fan then, huh?
A Beatles fan. I mean, sure, I'm late to the game, whatever. I didn't really start listening to them like maybe 2009, 2010 ish.
Or is it just the nostalgic or the imagery of it too? I mean,
Of
they're characters. They also, started the whole acid era. That whole stuff with opiate and acid and all that stuff was happening during that time. But do you have this?
what's
Oh
that?
my god. Ugh.
Yeah,
Uh,
Kiss.
the the whole the whole entire Kiss comic.
I don't know about anything of that magnitude. I mean,
Yeah, man. Dang it, and I can't put it back. Oh well, put it
I'd say
somewhere
my
here.
biggest comic collection. I mean, would be probably I guess
Bro,
Walking Dead or Power Rangers.
walking. On that DC Infinite app, I was reading Power Rangers versus Justice League. So that was a good one because now you got they how did something happens where I think the Justice League get I think they get tossed into Angel Grove or something like that, and or is it vice versa? I think it's vice versa. I think the Power Rangers are tossed into Gotham or something like that, and like Batman and like the Black Ranger go at it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see stuff like that. Yeah, man, like I said, I do rare stuff. You know.
I haven't read that. I mean, I own the graphic novel of that story. I think uh the part where I mean the Power Rangers kind of had to rely on other like armor that I mean just really had like they couldn't use their actual like Power Ranger like they couldn't morph. It's like
Yeah,
little
yeah,
takeaway, but
yeah, yeah. It was cool. It was an epic thing. Definitely.
so that whole are you a collector question was kind of based off because I used to I start this collecting podcast that I called it Population Podcast.
Hmm.
Is about I mean the main stuff was like pops whatever or it was initially just an overall collecting podcast. Like the first half would be um stuff would show off like what we picked up whatever, and I had this whole thing segment called "Who Went All In," like who spent the most, who's the collector of the months. There's like they always talk about
Oh
whatever was being
wow.
releasing.
Yeah.
The second half of that, like there's two episodes in like 1 month. So the second half we bring on a collector guests, like how they get started to collecting, what they collect.
That is definitely different. That is something I would be interested in hearing too. I mean, that's unique.
But unfortunately, we only went like 20 episodes, and it just kind of went on pause. We haven't.
Hey, I mean, you could always bring it back. I mean, somebody like going back to the whole wrestling thing, someone like Cole Cabana, who is known as the Podfather, the wrestling godfather of podcasts. He was basically the first guy that started the idea of wrestlers having their own podcast. So Cole Cabana was the first one that started it. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be no Talk is Jericho or the Steve Austin show or any of those, man. Like he was the first. So and then now you got well, he was Zack Ryder, right? Well, Matt Cardona and Hawkins, who is was I forget his name now. Anyways, they have their own wrestling figure podcast, and they do toy hunts and stuff like that too. So they do the collecting as well.
The major is it the major
Yeah, the
figure?
major wrestling figure
Major.
podcast, I think something like that. I mean, and that's what I like. I think stuff like that is free. It's really cool. Um, I don't know if you recently heard, because I have HBO Max. I don't know if you have HBO Max. For the ones that do have HBO Max and you want to hear a good podcast and you're a comic fan and you're a big Batman fan, they just released this Batman audio podcast thing where it's just like I can't explain it, man. Like it's almost like if you're listening to like if you were living in Gotham and you turned on the radio in Gotham, what would you hear? You know, Gotham radio, basically. So it's that dude. I was intrigued just with that first episode. I haven't finished it, but I mean, just that first episode alone, I was like, it felt like I was in Gotham. Like that's how good just the audio, the way they presented this thing was, dude. Yeah. So yeah, I suggest you check that out if you want something that's fun uh, to listen to podcast wise. That one's a good one. It's like Batman audio or Batman something
Batman
like that,
audio.
but it's cool. Like welcome to Gotham, and you're like the hey, this is the
Mm.
Joker, and like it's like I'm watching the animated series or something, but audio. And then there was another one, going off of the podcast. I think there was one on Netflix, the Carillion frequency or something like that. I don't know, but it was something like that where like these people would call in about supernatural or paranormal events or whatever, and he had this like dark, nostalgic, voice, and it was pretty creepy. That was another cool one too. So yeah, I'm all over the place with that stuff too, and I think that idea with the collection would be awesome, and I think you should bring that back because, like I said, Cole Cabana was doing the art of wrestling, and then he went on a hiatus. I guess like y'all did, but now he came back with another one that's called Wrestling Anonymous. Which I thought was genius is another podcast you should listen to yourself. It's called Wrestling Anonymous, which basically anybody can call in, and he has a hotline, and you leave a voicemail about your wrestling story, and your wrestling story on that hotline will be played on his podcast, and then he just reviews it. So your unique like it's basically what the idea is like, everyone has a unique about experience, a wrestler at a hotel or at a restaurant or this and that, or like your experience. Basically you can call in as long as it's wrestling related. You call in and tell your story, and you remain anonymous.
Anonymous. I'm an anonymous general manager.
Yeah.
No, but
Dude, dude.
dude, dude, I just received an email. No, but oh boy. Um, since this is normally a wrestling tacos question, or an ooh. Have you ever seen one of our episodes on Ultimate Wrestling Unpacking,
I
where
don't
they
think I
open
have.
up? Well, it's a little series that Franco and Andy do. They unpack Pokemon cards with a guest, like a wrestler,
Hmm.
the indie wrestlers. Um, so pretty much most of the time, their end of the questions on those videos is, "What is your favorite type of taco?"
Oh man,
Since we're yeah,
what is my favorite type of taco? Well, it's funny that you say that, right? Because me being Texan and me loving Big Red, I mean, it's obviously I love barbacoa. You know,
barbacoa.
so I mean, a good barbacoa taco with maybe a fireball shot and some Big Red mixed with that. Yeah, gives
The
me good
bigger
heartburn.
barbacoa.
Gives me good heartburn.
Mm. I want to be quite honest. I mean,
Hurts so
I
good.
don't think I've ever tried Big Red barbacoa because I'm a Dr. Pepper guy, so I drink Dr. Pepper, and I mean barbacoa is the other taco I have. The
Yeah.
other, because I get two tacos. I get barbacoa. I get bacon and egg. Those are the two tacos. Like
Same here for the breakfast. Yes, bacon and egg all the way.
those two and a Dr. Pepper. That's just been my go-to.
Yes. But yeah, oh, and that's funny because HEB even has packs where you can buy the pack with the Bodvaco and the Big Red together. Like so for some reason it's a tag team itself. uh, Chicken fajita would be another one, I guess. I like chicken fajita and barbacoa. Sometimes when I would go to the Golden Corral, I love that pulled pork. That was another good one.
Going cra. Every time I go there, I feel like I never eat the value that I'm supposed to eat. I get full really fast.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm just saying. I think the next question would be when are the hell we're gonna see a wrestling tacos food truck?
Wrestling Tacos food truck. That's going too far beyond the future. There, you got baby steps, baby steps. we got First. We got to start off small with the t-shirts,
and
so
then
merch,
and
and
then
then
and
dream
then you
go bigger.
and then you get your taco truck.
The taco truck.
Yeah, it's
Oh
only
boy.
it's only obvious that you have a wrestling tacos themed food truck that's named by. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're gonna have the fucking Killer Cross Taco. You're gonna have the you know yeah, you're gonna have the Benny Dreams Bean Taco.
The Chris Carter router.
I'm just saying. I get what you're saying with baby steps, but with Robert's War, you always dream big.
Dream base.
Yeah,
Maybe whenever you get that comic going, you can draw a
yeah,
little food truck
yeah.
or wrestling
Well,
tacos.
and then if it actually ever becomes a promotion itself, we'll just have your food truck right in front of the thing. That's it.
like the trucks out there, they sell merch. They're just gonna be selling tacos.
It's like the taco truck slash ticket booth.
That's,
So either way, you're gonna have to purchase a ticket, and well, you're gonna be persuaded to get a taco at the same time.
so why is it $20 for a taco? What the heck? All pricey. You're being served by the best.
Well, I mean, if you do $20, then you might as well do the Botavaco and Big Red Pack, I guess.
Okay. Who? This is a I don't. It's not really that big of a question, but I feel like it's a question. Uh, who is Spider-Man to you? Tom Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland?
Toby
Who is
Maguire.
Tom Maguire? That's the only answer.
I mean, well, because that's the Spider-Man. I grew up on.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
everyone.
and I mean, I don't really know the others too much as I do, I guess, with Toby.
Toby. That was like more recent. I watched it because I own the 4K trilogy. I had watched them all, and I mean, Andrew Garfield. I think I only seen like once, but I mean, it wasn't enough to draw me in.
I mean, and I don't know why they do that too. And I guess it's also because, like, obviously with Toby, you're looking at the first one like, okay, and then the second one comes out like, oh, even better. And then and they're continuing with it, and then you announce somebody else, and I think that's what always gets to me all the time. Like it's just I don't know, leaves me with a sour taste in my mouth every time they do stuff like that. Like I'll give it a chance, but it's just like, man, it's not, it's not the same. Like I'll give you an example, like when they just premiered like the Batwoman on CW and stuff, and I don't know who the first actress was, but I mean she only did that first season and all of a sudden she was done for and they brought in another actress and I'm like, man, that's not Batwoman to me now. They just messed it all up. Oh, here I am getting into it and everything, and yeah. I mean, sure. Like I said, I'll give stuff a chance because obviously that happens everywhere. It happens also with bands. When a certain member, same with Slipknot, right? With the certain members leave the band and others join. I don't know how to feel about it, but then you just over the times they put the miles in and all that stuff, and then okay, you're worthy.
You worthy.
Yeah, you're
You're in your
worthy. But
stripes.
someone like that who was the you said who's the other actor after Toby?
Andrew Garfield.
See, someone like him, like I don't know, like maybe if like I said, maybe if they did a trilogy or they did more with him, then maybe I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, he only had two movies.
But it's like they don't let those actors breathe enough with those characters, and that kind of sucks for me, man.
Well, I mean, Tom Holland kind of broke that record. This guy's appeared
Okay,
Spider-Man to more.
okay, well, okay. If I'm gonna if I'm gonna go with another Spider-Man, I'll definitely go with him too.
Oh,
Also because of the fact that he's gonna also be Nathan Drake in Uncharted. So I'm gonna go. I'm
Uncharted.
gonna go. I'm gonna go with him too as well.
Hmm.
because here's the rookie who's gonna be in a badass movie with Ryan Reynolds, the veteran,
Right, it's,
and here's my brain already looking at it like it's
mm.
wrestling. Like, but sorry, bro. That's like Toby is Spider Man. You cannot replace him like you can't replace Kevin Nash with Diesel. Okay, fake Diesel and fake Razor ain't gonna work. Same thing. These all these other
Mm.
actors fake Spider Man. It's not gonna work for me. Fake
So,
webs. They're shooting
so
out fake.
Bully
They're sh-
Maguire.
they're sh- they're shooting out. They're shooting out fake webs that are not producing anything. And that's what she
You
said.
you watched the recent trailer for that No Way Home, right?
Yes, and so man, and what did you think of the Spider Verse too? That whole right, that cartoon, right, or the animated movie that they did, the
I
Spider
call it
Verse.
Into Spider Verse. I mean, I like the whole concept, but I guess I just I don't
See,
think I'm really that big of a fan of Miles Morales, to be honest.
and that's what I was gonna tell you. Or like, what's since mine is Batman, what's your go to character?
Character?
What is that? Spider Man.
Well, I mean, as far as DC, I think, I mean, I've been a Batman guy. As far as Marvel, I mean, I would say Spider-Man is the Marvel go-to guy.
I think that's an interesting question for me because I've always been in DC. I don't know if I have anything in Marvel. I guess for Marvel, for me, it would be Ghost Rider or the darker characters: Ghost Rider, Blade, Moon Knight, Silver Surfer, the Punisher, Vigilantes. It goes back to Vigilantes again,
Vision,
unless you're like Silver
or
Surfer.
just like the bad guys like
But I
Thanos
mean,
and
Moon Knight. Moon Knight, they did say is the Marvel Batman, so which they're also making a DC Plus series, so that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, um, freaking. They didn't show any Tom Maguire, but I mean, there was a little footage of a freaking lizard getting punched in the face.
I was wondering what that was all about because I haven't seen it. Like, I saw the trailer and everything, but like I didn't. There's sometimes with the Easter eggs and all that stuff. It kind of, man, I don't know. I had to.
Yeah, it's one of those where they try to
It's
edit
one
out.
of those. Yeah, I had to like dice. I had to watch videos to dissect it all that stuff. Because I did the same thing, obviously, with the Batman trailer. And obviously I myself have to defend the actor because everyone's giving him shit for the Twilight stuff. But come on,
Robert Pattinson.
how is no one? I don't know. I don't know. Like you're gonna only judge him by the Twilight movie, but you're not gonna judge him by this darker stuff he did, like with Harry Potter and all the other darker movies he's done. Come on now. I mean, they did the same thing with Heath Ledger and the Joker, saying the same thing that he was not worthy of it. And look at him now, like, or look at the nostalgia or the whole thing. And I don't even know if death has to be something because that's another conspiracy thing in my head that works around like obviously death sells and it really does because mostly all these artists, wrestlers, all the stuff, their value goes up for some reason and they're now cemented.
Okay, we're almost winding up there. Okay, so we were talking about horror movies,
Mhm.
but the question is, what is your exact favorite horror movie? And it's like a two-part question. Favorite horror movies or horror icon?
Oh man, well, it would have to be Halloween.
Halloween.
It would yeah because I'm thinking. I mean, I'm thinking of Murph's answer. Murph's answer would obviously be Chucky.
Child's Play.
Yeah, he's a big Chucky fan.
Even of the Seed of Chucky?
I think
That's
so.
pretty
I think we talked about it a little bit, but he was like, "Yeah, I think that's probably his least favorite one." He really dug Koto Chucky. Thought he brought it back, back to be it being that darker, serious, more Chucky. And then obviously, it's still on the DVR, but I still need to get to the TV show. I've
I have
yet to
yet
watch
to.
it.
Yeah, I
Well,
haven't seen
because
it.
right now I'm and actually after this, uh, I'm gonna go watch American Horror Story. So I've been fixated on that right now. I'm on
I'm
Hotel.
far behind on that.
I'm on Hotel. Well, I was too.
Also,
I was too, but I started binging it.
it's
Actually, these are one of the shows that is rare that I am actually. I already like like I told you, like there's rare. Obviously, the shows that I won't binge, but there is some shows that like if it's darker, like Sons of Anarchy, I binge the hell out of that. And I'm also like some people always late to them too because I don't. I hate the hype of everything. Uh, I hate that. I just want like when the mood is right for me, then I'll watch it. Because obviously everyone wants to watch it like right then and there, and I get that and all that stuff. But like for me, like I don't know, I gotta anticipate it, and I don't know, I gotta feel it, I guess, or something.
I own all the seasons up to Roanoke. I believe that's where the DVDs I have. But I mean, I think I've only seen up to uh Freak Show, which was the fourth season.
Yes, and well, I think last week or so I finished Freak Show. Yeah, and
The scene where they do the trade off for Doc Hipper, that was pretty hilarious.
yeah, yeah, that show was just man, it was so great. Yeah,
Twisty the Clown.
yeah, dude, yes, and I mean, and then what Hotel is doing right now too is well, it's I don't know, it's interesting because obviously going with the whole behind the scene thing. I mean, it's obviously based off of the Cecil Hotel, so and and the whole documentary on Netflix, they have a whole documentary of that too.
I think I've
So
only
I
seen the
think
first episode of that documentary.
yeah, and me and my wife I told her about it, but we're not gonna. I guess we're not gonna watch that documentary obviously until the hotel finishes, and then
Mm.
but I do see because I know about the whole Cecil Hotel thing, some of it, right? So the hotel, the American Horror Story Hotel, is obviously making some sense to me with that fiction played in there.
That's the season with Lady Gaga, right?
Yeah, and the conspiracy side of me is looking at it like,
Hmm.
I mean, because I mean, I'm just saying, the conspiracy side of me is like, she has an album called Government Hooker. I'm basically looking at this hotel season as one big Lady Gaga video. That's what I'm looking at it as. Because I mean, she's right. She fits right in. Like, I don't know where the acting is at because it looks authentic to me.
Just playing
So
herself.
it looks like fucking yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking at. Like yeah, she sold her soul.
So when you say that was season two with Adam Levine, the whole Maroon 5 music video. That's stupid. Mm.
Yeah.
No, not Adam. Kill him off at the
But
very
I
beginning.
mean, I, yeah, I guess it would be Halloween because I'm trying to think of if there was any other movies that pop out. I would say Dolly Dearest for some reason. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but this is way before Chucky or during that time. But it's the same where there's this I guess they purchase a house or something, and there's a mysterious mysterious dollhouse in the back that is like the size of the kid. Like the kid can go into this dollhouse and yeah, finds that dolly and ends up yeah, that Dolly Dearest ends up like being possessed by a demon or some shit like that. And yeah, at that age, that scared the hell out of me. Probably scared the hell out of me more than I mean, because Chucky to me, even Chucky as a kid, I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't really take him serious.
Chucky, Leprechaun.
Oh man, Leprechaun was great. Yeah, Leprechaun, his little ass car getting stopped by the cop. Jennifer Aniston. Yeah. Yeah, Children of the Corn. Puppet Master.
Puppet Master.
What's another one? And I keep mentioning you. Warlock was another.
Yeah, I'd say other than like the main slasher movies, Stephen King movies were those are like most my go-tos. Like
Same
The
here.
Shining
Whoa.
is one of my top favorite movies.
Which one?
The Shining,
Oh, okay.
the Kubrick
What?
version.
Mm, uh, did you? Didn't they make another movie based off of that too? or something. It was recent,
Uh,
right?
or referring to the sequel. I was like, are you? Let's see. I was like, were you talking about the one where they try to make based off the story? I
I
never
don't.
seen the TV series one, but I mean, anyways,
No,
yeah,
yeah, those like no, those. I think the sequel maybe.
the
I'm
sequel, Doctor Sleep
Doctor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
with Ewan McGregor,
yeah,
Obi-Wan.
yeah. I thought that was a good movie. I liked it, and that's because I'm not, I haven't really dove into the whole Shining stuff. You know what? I was more an Evil Dead guy. I was more Army of Darkness. That was because, and like I don't know, that all comes from my dad. My dad was watching, so obviously I'm just watching what he's watching. One of those things.
It's funny that you mentioned like, I mean, um, most of the time, I mean, either I was watching with my mom or going to the movies with her, but a lot of times I usually watch the movies by myself.
Yeah,
Just be sitting there like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm very interested. Like maybe like what the age of 3, 4, whatever.
but yeah, my dad was already watching that stuff. I mean, like I remember being a kid and being like Jason Goes to Hell scared the living hell out of me. Uh, what other movie? There was well, the Warlock was another good one. I keep mentioning that. I know that because it's really damn good. Uh, Arachnophobia scared the living hell out of me, obviously because of this whole spider thing. Um, I was trying to remember some of the other movies that he watched. There was a lot. There was a lot, definitely.
What was that movie? It was I forgot what the hell it was called.
Well,
Something Master, Dream Master. I don't know what it was called. He
oh, hmm, that sounds familiar.
could be wrong on the name, but I think it's something Master.
No, yeah, there is something Wishmaster.
Wishmaster. That there you go.
Wishmaster,
I
dude.
was
Yes.
like, Dream
Okay,
Master.
so Wishmaster was kind of almost like the this Warlock movie I'm talking about too. Yeah, it was something like that. It's yeah, Wishmaster's that's a good one. I need to go back and watch that
I
one.
haven't seen it on forever.
I haven't seen that one forever either. Like, now that you said, I was like, holy hell, that just watched. Whoa, whoa, the Wishmaster. Obviously he was George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Not the freaking Walking Dead that we're getting right now, with Night of the Living Dead. Well, and going back to comics, that's how I like the Walking Dead as well because I knew about the comics already. All right, so the hype was real for me already when the TV show came around because I was already big. I was already a fan of the comics. So yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay. So my next question. Time to get serious. um, who is your biggest inspiration?
Mm, my dad, definitely my dad. He's the reason why I love wrestling because he loves wrestling, and still, he acts like well, I mean, we both act like each other, obviously, like little kids. Always when we're just let's just put it this way: our wives can't take us anywhere because we always act like goofs, and we're always talking about wrestling or yeah, he's a drummer, so that's why I became a drummer. The whole musician thing just is a whole family legacy deal. I mean, every single family member plays an instrument. A majority of them, including all the women, all play accordion. Uh, so so that was something I used to play when I was 4 years old. And then during the Power Ranger stuff, I was playing accordion, and then I get if I didn't, if I missed a note from my grandpa or whatever, he would punish me, and I'd get punished because I didn't. Yeah, I was that serious with the TV, with the music instructor being family. Like they
So
really were trying
he
to.
was like what was his name? Abe
Because
from the Continuous.
pretty some in a way, yes, in a way, yes, because he was trying to. I was like in a freaking accordion boot camp, so because I mean, I get it now because obviously I'm looking back at it now like, damn it, man. I wish I knew it. I like they said I used to know how to play it, but like I wish I knew now. And so now that's one of go back to what you're collecting. Question. That would be another one. I want to collect. I want to collect more instruments too. Because I used to play saxophone as well and play drums, sing, and there's accordion. So and then with saxophone, I got bored with that, so I learned clarinet. So so I just want, yeah, that would be another, definitely one. Instruments would definitely be one of those. But
Man.
yeah, my dad was definitely the one. He was. Um, I was never. I didn't know my mother until I was 7. So yeah, my dad was all I knew, and his lifestyle was the musician lifestyle. So every time he was doing gigs or the tours or any of that stuff, I was with my grandfather, who was trying to lay down the musical foundation on me, trying to make me the musical prodigy. And so yeah, him definitely. He's the reason why I love wrestling. He's the reason why I love music, drums, comics, all that stuff. He's the same.
All right, we're winding down to the last question. What is leg no, what is the legacy you want to leave behind? That's actually not the
Uh,
question. That's not the question. That's not my shtick. That's wrestler of the week. That's your question. My real question is, you have all the 7 Dragon Balls. What are you gonna wish for?
Jeez, man, this, and that's, I was never really like, oh man, like I loved Dragon Ball Z, but I was again one of those kids that was just like, I knew like my friends loved it and all that stuff, but I didn't really get into it as much as I should have. But obviously I know about like Goten and Vegeta and Trunks, and you know, um, what would I wish for?
Yeah.
And with those Dragon Balls, you only get what, a wish, one wish. Or how many-
Well, there's different rules applied to it. I mean, sometimes there's 3 wishes, depending on the dragon, or you get one
Oh,
wish.
yeah, that's great. Um,
Gogeta. So,
that's,
gosh.
man, that definitely is a loaded question because there's tons of stuff I could wish for. But at the end of the day, um, I don't know, man. I would wish for more peace. You know, more longevity. Cause like, I mean, cause at the end of the day, you like collecting and wrestling and music and all that stuff is cool and everything. But like at the end of the day, we're like gonna leave this earth with nothing anyway. So, uh, materialistic things are nothing to me. They're just, I guess they're just icing on the cake that we call life. So I think that'd be the answer. Peace. I mean, we need unity. We need more of that. I think that's what I would wish for. More unity, because it's especially now, because we're all divided. You know, we all want to be in some stupid. I mentioned it already earlier with AEW versus WCW, or AEW versus WCW. Why did I say that? I'm kidding. WCW, AEW versus WWE, and it's always the freaking fans. It's always the people that want to freaking divide everybody and have this whole thing. No, it's unity. It's all about one. You're looking at it like AEW this and WWE this and that and that, and I'm looking at it like wrestling. So that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Unity, community, peace, more of that harmony. We just need more of that, and that's lost because a lot of people are just like, instead of um instead of worrying about who instead of worrying about who created us, we should be worrying about who's destroying us. So I don't think, yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, I don't care about your belief system or your religion or any of that stuff. I really don't care, because at the end of the day, going back to the unity thing and going back to, like, again, coming full circle with all this stuff with wrestling, metal, comics, all that stuff. It's all about community. It's all about us being one, and we are one. EmoséwA.
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 Damn, that whole thing you said was very inspirational quote that, I mean, I don't know if you ever seen our posts when we do Wrestler of the Week. Yeah, the whole attachment. Yours is like, it's kind of
Well,
hard. I'm gonna forget everything you say. I'm gonna have to keep rewinding it.
no, the quote would be, instead of who is creating us, we should worry about who is destroying us.
That's the quote.
Yeah, that's the quote right there, because
Damn,
I really
living this
do.
off what's inspirational.
Because I really do feel like that, and again, leaving on a high note. That's the reason why I love wrestling. That's the reason why I want to do this podcast. Again, it goes with the community. It goes with all that. Because I believe it, man. In wrestling, you can be anything and everything you want to be. I mean, and I said it in I think the last episode. Everyone gives a lot of shit to someone like Nyla Rose for being trans, or this whole gay thing and all that stuff. Like in wrestling, who cares? I mean, you got somebody like Dustin Rhodes, who is a blue collar Texan, being some homophobic gold dust looking type of dude, and that's not him at all. It's just acting, man, and it's just you know at the end of the day, just be whatever you want to be. You can be anything you want to be.
I want to be a bad guy. Continue being bad dad.
You the bad guy.
The bad guy in the cage. The H
You the
side.
bad.
Uh, yeah, man, that's pretty much all my, I guess, questions I wanted. Well, here's the bonus question. Since we are in the month of November, what are you thankful for?
Man, uh, I'm um um I'm thankful for my wife. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people always say I'm thankful for family, and I'm thankful for everything, honestly. But if I had to narrow it down to something specifically, because obviously you always get in every interview or so that I'm thankful for my family, or I'm thankful for my pets, I'm thankful for my children, and yes, that all is true, and I am thankful for just life in general. But at the end of the day, for me personally, it's my wife, because. Uh, she has to put up with me, and that's already enough on her plate. You have to put up with Rob is war.
Mm,
That's already a lot on your plate already. But yeah, she's the one that I guess if I could go back to your inspirational question too with my father, I'd put her in there too, because uh, yeah, she's stuck with me for 11 years. It's about to be 12 years come December. Um, which maybe I'll do a cool little episode I'm gonna call Seasons Beatings. And we'll see what happens, man. Yeah, but yeah, she definitely her. I don't think I wouldn't be in this if it wasn't for her too, because she was always determined, always. Because I have, like I always get sidetracked with certain things, and like, ooh, so she's the one that just puts me in that line, and keeps me sane.
such great answers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the closing off questions. It was really great having you on the stream, getting to know you much more. Uh, I mean, say that I mean, you're part of the brand. Sure, you do Robin's War, but if you're on EmoséwA
Hmm.
Productions, you are now a family member of the brand.
Hmm. And
It's
well, with that being said, I guess the goals for the production here is I want that damn YouTube plaque. So
you play back.
how the hell do we get that YouTube plaque? We're gonna leave it with this. You need to like, subscribe, comment, and repeat.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah, keep repeating. Like, subscribe, and comment. Like, subscribe, and comment. Do it over and over and over until your hands are swollen.
so closing off for me, closing off. We are still on the road to 200 subscribers as right now. Before we can get to that plaque, so 200. We're at 193 at the moment, and we're having this whole a voting poll thing. What's There's only five of us doing it. So there's Franco, there's me, there's Fuentes, Andy, and Ti-Fi.
Hmm.
Us five. The person who gets the most votes will get pied in the face. No, this was not my idea. This was a. uh, but yeah, you can you go to our Facebook page, Wrestling Tacos, and you should have the names commented in the comment section. And I believe Fuentes has the most votes at being 5. Not really looking very promising for that dude. And also this Sunday the 21st, if we reach 200 by then, the pie will double itself. So instead of just 4 pies, it'll be 8 pies to taste.
Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, the poll will initially end when we reach 200.
Ooh, ooh. So we're close.
We're pretty close.
We're pretty close.
193.
Yeah, yeah. We need more of them subscribers. So yes, if you can get us those subscribers, that would be, yeah, it would be awesome.
That'd be EmoséwA.
It would be emo swat.
But yeah, it was like I said, fun interview, fun introduction. It's great to have you on team.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um. Oh, like you were talking, and it's funny that you mentioned the Facebook page. I think I don't know when, but soon I'll be starting a Rob is War page itself, just so I can just post wrestling stuff and whatnot too. So
uh,
hopefully then.
did you want to plug any of your accounts to where they
I
can
mean,
follow you?
I just have the. I mean, all you have to do is just search for Rob is War, and I'm on Twitter. I got the Rob is War Twitter. I have the Rob is War Instagram, and then obviously my face. There's, I think on Facebook it's just my regular name, Robert Gantu, or you just find my wife, Leanne Gantu. But yeah, I will be starting a Rob is War, hopefully page, or group page or something like that, or one of those pages where I can post all that wrestling stuff. But yeah, just search for Rob is War and you'll find it.
Or with me? You can follow me at the bad guy 2313 on Instagram. I've mainly been posting some of my horror collections. There might be different posts, but that's mainly what I'm doing. Just posting some of my horror stuff.
Yeah.
You want to follow that? Twitter, I kind of just stopped promoting because I don't even tweet.
Well, recently I tweeted something about Danny Limelight, who I think is an awesome wrestler, and he's been retweeting my tweets like this whole time. So I'm st- I'm still doing the Twitter thing because it's catching. Because obviously the stuff I'm saying with the little inspirational quotes that I know how to do sometimes, they catch fire. So I said something about Danny Limelight being like the only wrestler that is a heel and a baby face. It being my intro thing. Um, that he is a heel and a baby face all at the same time in different promotions, and that's fucking crazy. So yeah, there's one promotion in MOW where he's the bad guy with Conan, and they're doing this LAX type of thing, and he's like this bad guy, and you have him being babyface in like New Japan and all that other in AEW too. So like he's everywhere. So yeah, that's why I do Twitter, just to keep it up.
Well, just thank you for those who tuned in. Thank you. Just remember, Rob is war, Rob is life.
Yes, good one.
No, my closer is remember, folks, always been the bad guy, and we're ending it live.